We were trying to do yesterday. We had your pick of what was the 5 best representative rectangles. Then we had a sample of 5. Then we increased it to 10. But it didn't actually go our way. However, yesterday we did the 100 rectangles. But what if we had 1,000 rectangles? Nobody wants to count all of the areas of 1,000 rectangles, right? What if we had the number of rectangles so that each American could have one rectangle? So if you get data like this, shown at the bottom, where they collected data for 2 different situations, okay? These are spinners. What would you expect the average number of times to land on pink to be in these situations if these spinners were spun 1,000 times? Let me repeat the question. Take a look at the front board. Out of 1,000 times that we would spin the spinner, Rachel, look up here. Out of 1,000 times that we would spin the spinner for graph number 1, class, how many times would you expect it to land in the pink area? I cannot have. Out of 1,000. Out of 1,000. Out of 1,000. How many times would you expect that to land in the pink? I know. She's very vocal. They are. Yes. Come on, guys. Out of 1,000 times. 800. Why 800? How many times out of 1,000? She said 800. Okay. Stacy, what do you think? Is 800 high, low? You like 800? Out of 1,000 times that we would spin that first spinner, we want to know how many times out of 1,000 we would land on the pink area. What do you think it should be? 725. Okay, so I got 800, 725. Yeah, Damari. 600. Okay. Do we have another number? Noelia, what do you think? You think 600 also? What do you think, Morgan? 300. 600. We had a 600. We had a 300. Anybody else? 500. We're only talking about the first one now, right? We haven't got to the second one. Well, how are you coming up with these numbers? One of them is actually correct.
Is that higher or lower?
I don't know. You tell me. How many parts are pink? 3 out of how many? So 3 out of the 5 parts are pink. And if I take this to 1,000, I would multiply by 200 over 200 and get 600 over 1,000. So the answer is 600. The people who had 600 are correct. Because the more often you do this, the more likely you should come out to the same answer that is shown for your spinner. So in that case, if that's true, for number 2 out of 1,000 spins, how many would we expect to land in the pink area? Christopher. How many? Huh? 500. That is correct.
Oh, so the second one was 500.
Because it's half, right? And 1/2 is the same as 500 out of 1,000.
Well,
That is true. Christopher, good job. That's your credit. Any questions about this? All right, let's take a look at this second slide. So, what if, though, as we spin this spinner 1,000 times, we really get closer to 45% that is pink instead of the 60% and the 50%? We get 45. So which spinner were you probably using of the two? The first one? So this is spinner 1, this is spinner 2. Which spinner were we probably using? Raise your hand. Oh, so somebody said spinner 1, someone said spinner 2. Have you had enough time to think? Reese, let's look up here, please. How many say spinner 1? Raise your hand. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. The question is, if we spin these 1,000 times and instead of getting 60% and 50%, and this time we actually got 45%, which spinner were we probably using? So one more time, raise your hand if you think it's spinner number 1. 2, 3. Okay, guys, this is what I hate. Raise your hand if you think it's spinner number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. People think it's spinner number 1. Raise your hand if you think it's spinner number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Raise your hand if you didn't answer the question. Haha. They're not paying attention still. So, why do you think it's spinner 1? The people said spinner 1. Rachel, was that you? No? Damari, that was you. Why do you think 45% would have definitely been on the 60% spinner? This is discussion. This is the audience participation. Gabe, put your phone away. Do you have your book? Remember, it's in your room. You just haven't found it. Remember? Oh. He lost it again. It's probably still in your room. Damari, why do you think spinner 1? I don't know what? You don't know. Who else said spinner 1? Well, yeah, I think you said spinner 1.
Probably because like number 1 is cut in smaller parts, and this one is like 2 parts. The second one.
Okay, so number 1 is cut in smaller parts, and that's going to get and be closer than the second one, which is in 2 parts. Okay. Which one is closer to 45%? 2. Don't you think that's the one that's probably going to be more likely to hit 45% if what we're looking for is 50%? Yes. Okay. Do you think it's possible to get a 45% pink outcome on either of these after 1,000 times? Is it possible? Is it possible? Hadassah, is it possible to get 45% on either of these? Yeah, it's possible. It's more likely for graph number 2 because you're closer to 50%. Right here, you're further away. Okay, so it's not as likely. All right, so on page 44 in your books, let's take a look at these results. It says we had 150 people spin each spinner 100 times. And we are showing their data. Now here it says 100. We should actually get ourselves together, okay? sample, but the sample size is 100. Okay, but we had 150 people. Take a look at these dot plots. These are dot plots. Damari, you either look at your book or look at the Promethean board. Take a look at these. Okay? These are our samples. Samples. So which graph has the 3/5 sections of pink? Would you say that is graph number 1? Or is that graph number 2? Which one do you think has the 3/5 of a section in pink? Just looking at these two graphs. Morgan. Huh? Yes? I said which one?
I'm asking you, yes, like what?
Yes, what is the answer? I know, you should be paying attention up here. Morgan. So the question is, which of these is showing the 60% or 3/5 pink? Why 2? It is highest at 60. Excellent. Very nice. Yeah. This is showing most of the data around that 60% or the 3/5, right? Most of this data, although it's not exactly here, is at 50. So this is showing the 3/5 spinner. And this is showing the 1/2 spinner, right? Does everybody see that? Because of where it's at. So, question, if I spin this 100 times with both spinners, which one is more likely to receive a result of 45%? And why do you say that? Right. So take a look here. Here is 45%. This is the line where 45% rests. 45% on this second graph is right here. So graph 1, which is the 50% in pink, is more likely to receive 45%. Okay? Any question on that? So you've got to look at the height of the dots to see which one is more likely to happen. All right. Oh, you guys will get a kick out of this. If we poll 100 people and ask, this is page 46, on a scale of 1 to 50, how satisfied are you with Pike High School? And we repeat the experiment several times. Which of these graphs would best match if the actual population response was 30? So the response was 30 on a scale of 1 to 50. 1 to 50. 50 being it's the greatest, 1 being it's the worst. Which one of these is showing the actual population response is about 30? Is that graph A, graph B, graph C, or D? This is audience participation again, okay? Everybody needs to raise the hand. Here we go. How many say graph A? Raise them high. How about graph B? Graph C? How about graph D? All right. Hey, we had more participation there. How do we know it's graph D? How do we know?
Because surrounded.
Okay, more of the data falls there. If you look at 30 in A, there is no data anywhere close. For B, very much at the tip top, there's very few people who answered 30. The bottom left for C, I think that's 30. Yes. Has a little bit more, but definitely 30 with the highest amount of data, close to the middle being the top. That is graph D. Okay. So, question, do you think it's very likely that an actual population would ever give Pike High School a score of 50? Is it likely?
No.
No. I mean, even when we had the 30, which was close to what it actually was, 50 is not even on the chart. Okay? So, and when you're talking about population, you're talking about maybe the entire school. Okay? I'm not talking about just a sample size. Population means the entirety. So the answer here is no. It is not very likely at all. Any questions on that? How would you rate Pike? I'm just curious. On a scale of 1 to 50, with 50 being the highest.
Like high to what? Like population or like?
No, not in population. Just how would you rate Pike?
Oh.
Overall, as a school, as a place to be with your friends, as the education you're receiving, 25? Somewhere in the middle?
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share?
That's like a good 40. Cause I feel like
You think a good 40?
Because I feel like not a lot of people understand that like we have like dermatology, HVAC,
HVAC?
stuff like that. Other public schools don't have that.
There's a lot of opportunities here. That is true.
But sometimes there's like fights and stuff like that.
Yeah, for education.
Right. Yes, for education, but
But like, I personally like the environment.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd say probably like half 50, like,
25.
yeah.
What is it lacking? What would you like to see more of?
What do you like? What do you what they
Like what would give it a higher score in your mind?
grab ass?
A what?
What?
Oh what?
What'd you say?
Grab ass.
What is that? Grab
Explain, Stacey.
ass. She's like, I thought you meant like DoorDash. If they allowed us to get DoorDash here. No, not DoorDash. Grab ash? Is that what you said?
No, grab ass.
Okay. I would say somehow if we could get a little more spirit, that'd be good. No? Better lunches? That might be nice. Okay. All right. So now please turn to page 48. If you won $10 million, what would you do? Don't say it. Don't say anything yet. Don't say anything yet. On page 48, I want you to complete these questions. If you want, there is a article from the Gallup poll. So I will read the questions. I want you to answer them, and then I'll give you about 5 minutes to answer, and then we'll come back and have a discussion about it. So a recent Gallup poll article found that almost 2/3 of Americans would continue to work even if they had won $10 million in a lottery. The poll reported, and I guess it's 59% in your book. I don't know why we have question marks there. 59% of Americans would continue. So almost 2/3. That'd be 66.6. Letter A, do these results surprise you? Don't say it out loud. Jot down your answers. If the prize monies were to increase, what do you think might happen to the survey? And maybe you should write increase to what amount? Okay. How big is enough that people might stop working, or how little is not enough where they would stop working? Letter B, do you think the Gallup organization called every household in America? If not, how did they arrive at this estimate? Letter C, if Gallup took another sample of the same size, do you think they would find the exact same results? And letter D, the article reports a margin of error of plus or minus 3 points. What do you think that means? So please answer these 4 questions to the best of your ability, and then we will discuss. So please answer these questions. This class is more about discussion and participation, probably than you think. I'll give you about 5-ish minutes, and we'll see where we're at. Gabe, you should write some of this down on a separate sheet of paper. Okay. Oh, I think I know what Stacy was saying now. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, I looked it up and it was like crab ash. Like,
Yeah.
and then I said crab bash. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
Nice. All right, looks like most everyone has written a little bit. So let's see what your answers are. So letter A, again, if someone, 2/3 of Americans, about 59%, said they would continue to work even if they won $10 million. Now, I should have looked and saw when this was taken, because maybe timing might change some things, okay? So letter A, do these results surprise you? And if the money was to increase, what do you think might happen to the survey results? Do the results surprise you that 59% or almost 2/3 would continue to work? Janetta,
No,
why?
because a lot of people just want to have a little bit extra money on the side.
And that would be a lot of extra, but I mean, what else would you do? I mean, if you just like go to Amazon and spend it all the time, you're going to be losing that money real quickly. So you probably still want to work some. Anybody have a totally different opinion? You guys would all work? Gabe, you would continue to work if you won $10 million? Yeah?
Yeah.
Stay at Walmart and be a cashier? No. There's nothing wrong with Walmart. What?
I will continue working.
Oh, okay. Why? Are they wrong? Ah.
And then they just be doing the most.
They probably think they probably don't like you because you can't understand them.
No, they be getting mad when I be giving them crumbled up money.
Crumbled up money. Well, straighten out the money.
And then when they ask for new ones, I just give them coins because I don't want to deal with them.
Your customer service rating is probably not as good as it could be, okay? Okay. Just saying. So no one would just take the $10 million and quit working?
I also feel like it depends on what age demographic you're at. To be honest, like I wouldn't even care because
For you personally?
No, I meant like I wouldn't I don't like care about like money like that.
Uh-huh.
I want to be greedy because my mom always told me not to be greedy about something, so I wouldn't. So I would just do it.
Keep doing your own thing?
Yeah, like hard work.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Because my mom has to.
All right. So Diana said maybe it depends on your age. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. In what way?
Because if you were to ask, I feel like if I was like 60, I would like retire. Or
Yeah.
50 at least.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. But if you like, let's say a 20-year-old, when I'm not pushing on them, like I want to like, you can't like view your future from like that far.
You never know what's going to happen. And you know how many lost cousins are going to come up to you and say, hey, remember me? I'm your lost cousin. It's like, I don't know you. I don't need to give you any money. Okay, interesting. Letter B, do you think the Gallup organization called every household in America? No. Well, then how did they get this estimate? Survey, yes. And what do we call that? They use what did they use? A sample. Yeah, they kind of gave it away in number 3. So they had to use a sample, okay? Because then in C, it says, if Gallup took another sample, and I was like, you just gave that answer away, of the same size, do you think we would get the exact same results? Probably not. Probably not is right. If you got the exact same results, that would be very odd. Okay? You should get similar results. You're not going to get the same exact results. Okay? And finally, letter D. This article reports a margin of error of plus or minus 3 points. What does that mean? A margin of error of plus or minus 3 points. Caitlin, I haven't talked to you for a while. What do you think a margin of error of plus or minus 3 points means? Any idea? They often talk about it maybe when they're talking about how you think the president's doing of his job, you know. Certain number of Americans have this approval with a survey margin of error of 3 points in either direction. Anybody have any good estimated, educated ideas onto what that might mean? Kyla? No? Amani? Miss Tyndall? Do you have any idea what that means? I said, do you have any idea what that means of a plus or minus 3 points for the margin of error? Well, if it is 59%, what is plus or minus 3? How low would that go? If you go 3% downward, that takes you to 56%. And if you go 3% upward, that's going to be 62%. So overall, I mean, that could be a difference of 6 percentage points. That's kind of a lot. Why is this so varied? Why is it not exact? Is every sample going to be the same? No. So maybe that's the variance of different samples. Does everyone always tell the truth when you're given a survey? No. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to tell you what I really think. You know, what if this comes back to haunt me? So there are several different meanings for why the 3%, but it's rare that you get an exact amount. So usually there is some small amount of error. All right? Any questions about that? Okay, we have come to the end. Yes, we have some extra time left over. This would be a good time to work on some of these homeworks. Okay? And yes, tonight is going to be the night for homework, for me to work on homework. So, if you are not up through homework number 8, keep working on that. And for some of you, you should start on the homeworks because next week it's all going to be about the project. Okay? Next week is project. You won't want to be working on the homeworks. All right?
Whoa, stepping up there.